Now I'm going to show you how to take the average 5-inch red and turn them into this. I'm also going to show you how to do all the weapon detail and everything. I'm going to show you my paints, my markers, everything. I've been getting asked about how I did this guy up, how I did the weapons up on my characters and everything. So I'm going to show you how to make this happen. As you go out to the store, you buy the figure. So you get the figure home, you open it up. If you want to save the package, you cut along the edge. Okay, stock figure. Voila, figure. Before you start doing any sort of paint work on this guy, the first thing you would do, ignore the basket hound, but the weapons come out of his hands. So as you can see, typical figure, we're going to be painting this whole guy up. So the hands pop off. That's step one on taking them apart. What color is this? Folk Art Kelly Green. I'm going to be using Apple Barrel Bright Red. I'm going to be using Apple Barrel Flag Red. I'm also using Folk Art Enamel Metallic Pure Gold. Before you can technically paint him, you gotta tape him off. The reason why is because you're doing two-tone. Okay, now once he's all taped up, this is gonna help you as far as your guideline. So now we start painting him green. Because this is the base coat, and you're gonna see this. You're gonna see the red bleeding through the green. So it's gonna take about three to 5 coats of green on this guy. So pretty much, because we're not out to really get them 100% accurate at this moment, just start painting. See? Like I said, nothing fancy. I mean, it doesn't bother me if I get the green on the gold and everything. I can clean it off. Or I could do like how I said as far as redoing the gold. And redoing the gold is not that hard. It's more, just the idea of once you do one touch up of gold anywhere on this, you pretty much will have to go through it and do all the gold. So that way it will all have that universal color. Like I said, the first coat is pretty much like a primer coat. And you're just basically coating your red. And then once this sits and dries, then you put another coat on top of that and another coat. And what will happen is the more coats you put on there, the more thicker it will look, and it will start looking a lot better as far as the coats go. Another thing is too is this being acrylic. Acrylic paints being water-based, they dry a lot faster than your enamels. They don't really get tacky or anything, which is good. But if you're using the acrylic enamel, that takes a little bit longer, and that does tack up a lot more. The helmet's a little bit tricky to tape up. I will tell you that right now. Okay, after he is dried, now we're going to do up coat number 2. You're going to notice too, I haven't painted this. And the reason why is because, like I said, if you paint this, paint will stick on in there. And what's going to happen is once the paint gets in there and you start moving the figure around, you can have some problems with the joint kind of gucking out. You're going to notice too, after coat 2, it's like I said, it's going to start filling in. It's going to start filling in a lot of those red spots and everything, which is actually really nice when it starts filling in. Now when I'm painting the helmet, when it comes to like the gold, a lot of times I don't mind painting over the gold, because on the green side I will be changing this side up and painting this to look like the Green Ranger's helmet. So it's kind of a pain to do, but it's not too hard. Even though it's going to have the look of the Green Ranger, it still might have the flow of the Red Ranger. You can still see the Red Ranger's outline. So that's what the second coat looks like. Again, same thing like the first. Oops, sorry, red. but eventually I'm going to be taking that arm off and getting in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the arm so that way I can head up the shoulder joint area a little bit more. Handy dandy knife off as well. And there it is. Just move it around. Voila, Red Ranger, no arm. Oh, another thing is too is I'm going to start peeling off the tape. So that way I can see my lines. See what I got to touch up because, like I said, you're going to be going back between touching up, fixing up, and everything else. So it doesn't have to look, perfect because, again, we're going to be just going back through and editing all the nice lines. So, but right now, doesn't look like much. Okay, so that's the third coat. You can see I coated the inside. Okay, after a full day of letting them sit and dry, so the greens had a full day to dry, I'm going to be painting the red today. Now the red's a little bit more tricky because I'm going to be using two different kinds of paint as far as color-wise on this character. My base coat is going to be Apple Barrel's Flag Red, and I'll be coating that with Apple Barrel Bright Red. The Flag Red is basically just a little bit thicker, it's a little bit darker. It's mainly to cover up the numbers on the back of them. So let's get this guy started out painting him red and everything. Because I'm being red already, it kind of makes it a little bit easier, where the green was a little bit, where the red was always going through the green. Was this coat, it's going to be just a little bit simpler, but I mean, you're still going to have some, some problems to some degree, but again, a coat or two of the red, and it'll thicken up and it'll look good. Okay, that's it for the red for now. Like I said, it's a little bit darker red. It's gonna sit up a little bit different. It's gonna lighten up a bit. And then when I go through with the bright red, that's gonna make this darker, and it's gonna make it look more like this. Because for that red to look that bright and everything, it's gonna take the flag red and the bright red and then the clear, and it will, after it's all done and clear coat and everything, it will pop. Like I said, I got red on the silver. The good thing about acrylic is if you can take your nail and run your nail over it, and it will come off real easy. So we're going to get this done. That way I don't have any paint lines showing through or thick paint lines or anything like that. That's the one thing you do not want. You do not want some thick paint lines sticking out. Pretty much after your first coat goes on, the next couple coats is really easy as far as painting them up and everything. One thing you'll notice is the barcode on the back is starting to disappear. It pretty much is almost disappeared. As you coat it, it starts looking like a little black spot, and then eventually it just starts disappearing. Okay, the red is done for now. I think when I do the next coat, I think I'm going to be probably going with the bright red.